the banks of the River Tyne. Take me home to the place that I call mine. It's a place I love best, 'cause it's better than the rest. Take me home to the banks of the River Tyne. There's lights that burn so brightly, in the northeast sky they shine. From a place that Geordies worship, where legends wear number 9. You can travel right round the world, even meet the Pope in Rome. But nothing beats the feeling of when you come back here to home. No matter how life changes, we'll never be far apart. The northeast always home, and it's always in your heart. Take me home to the banks of the River Tyne. Take me home to the place that I call mine.
Good evening, guys, and welcome to It's All Black and White TV. And yes, it is. It's the Transfer Show live tonight, and I'm joined by Pete and I'm joined by John. Before we get in the show, I'm going to say now, in case anybody else is wondering, not myself, Pete and John, we are not any in the knows by any means whatsoever. So we are only going to give you facts, not fiction. Okay? I know there is some channels out there that give a lot of pure fiction out, and we know who them channels are, but we do not give fiction. We give facts on here. So tonight we're going to talk about different players that are linked to us. And I say linked. They are not signed yet. They're not standing at St James's Park with a black and white shirt on or a scarf above their head. So I just thought I'd put that out there. So how are you, Pete, and how are you, John?
Not too bad, not too bad.
Not too bad, mate. Just been a long day at work, but all good, all good.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's just been one of those days, hasn't it, where it's going to be one of those windows where everybody's going to be linked to us, and you know, it's and you know, even if we're linked to 1,000 players this month, it's probably going to happen. So yeah, let's see what happens and see what the window brings. And the good thing about this window, though, is, guys, I think, and I don't know if you agree, but I think in some ways the World Cup being in there was good, because it meant we haven't played a lot of games till this window now. So it sort of gives us a better approach to buying players. I mean, what do you think, Pete? Do you think the World Cup's helped in that sense for the window?
It has, in a way, I would agree. It really, really has, I would say.
Yeah. And John, do you think the same?
I think the same, Tony. I mean, it has helped a little way. But the only concern is, right, I mean, there's players like Enzo Fernandez, right? He's had a fantastic World Cup, and the guy plays at Angers as well, plays with Rocco as well. Their trust's going to go sky high because of their performance. And all people going to risk paying all that money. Like Enzo Fernandez as well, 105 mil. I mean, Chelsea kind of pulled out because Benfica would just want to pay it all in one go. But yeah, you got to be careful when you buy these kind of players, mate.
Yeah, you've got to. I mean, he left team on Friday, hasn't he, for Benfica as well as Enzo Fernandez. So it's a real strange one. That, I mean, you know, is he hoping to get a move then? It's just really, really strange. But we see what happens and we await the outcomes on. But whether we'll go there to pay 105 million, I'm not so sure, if I'm honest with you. But that I've got some other news here for you guys, and so anyway, I've spoken to this guy, and I got a message back from him today saying he'd be very happy to come on the channel to do a show with him, and he's one of our own. He's a Geordie as well, and so I've got to confirm a date and time with this guy, but I'm going to pop his picture on now. And there you go. It's Chris Dobie, the professional darts player, who got the quarterfinals at Ali Pali. he said he'd love to come on the show and talk about his Darts career and also talk to Castaneted. So so once I get a date and time, guys, I'll put it out there. But yeah, Chris Dobie will be on this channel sometime soon, so watch out for that. What a great guy. Right, let's get to some comments before we get into the first topic of the evening. Pablo straight in. Evening, Tony. Hope you're well. What's your views on Ivan Fernandez? Be nice for him to learn from the best in Trippier. Yeah, we'll get into him in a moment. Nail says, big ups, Tony boy. Thank you very much. Anne says, it's a thumbs up just for the musical intro, Tony. Love it. Thank you, Alan. Yeah, thank you very much. LA Coffee. Hi, Tony, PD, John and all. Hi, LA Coffee. Hope you're well.
Yep.
And he says, my favourites.
Oh.
Yes, LA Coffee. Yes.
Rat says, evening, lads. Nice to see two of the four horsemen still around. LA Coffee, I miss the horseman shows. Davey says, good evening, Tony, John and Pete. Good evening, Davey. I hope you're very well. Jez says, hey, Tony, John, PD and all. Hope you're well. Yeah, we are. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Yeah. Pablo says, hey, John and Pete. Hope you're both well.
Very well.
Big up, Pablo.
Alan says, evening, Tony, John and PD. Evening to you as well, Alan.
Evening,
Everybody's
Alan.
an evening. Rat says, if Fresneda comes in a new winger and CDM, I'm happy. It's options. Yeah, like I say, we're going to get all into this. LA Coffee says, Alan Shearer. No, it's not Alan Shearer. That's wishful thinking. I think I would break the internet if Alan Shearer came on. Yeah, that's for sure. Mason says, good evening, everyone. Good evening, Mason. I hope you're well, mate. Rat says, Fresneda is ex-Real Madrid kid, not knocking trips, but he's learned from under Carvajal. Yeah, well, as I say, we're going to get into him anyway. Paul says, lots of news coming out about Matthias Franca. He looks a good player. Yeah, we'll discuss him as well. I mean, we've been linked to, like I say, a fair few amount of players already, and it can only get better, can't it? So yeah, the first player that I'm gonna actually bring on screen here is this guy. And if Foxy's in the chat tonight, I hope he is, by the way, or he comes on and he sees this player. I hope Foxy can give us an insight, because this guy knows his South American football very, very well. So the first player I'm bringing on screen is when he comes on. Oh, hang on, guys. There we are. Alan Varela. Now, this guy looks the real deal. Plays for Boca Juniors, Argentina. And it's been said that we've made a £16 million bid for his services. Now, he's also linked to Barcelona as well. He's 19 years of age, according to reports. So he's a youngster. But I've actually looked his proper age up. He's actually 21. So I think the reporters have got that wrong, that he was actually 19. So he is actually 21, because he was born July the 4th, 2001. Now, this guy plays as a centre midfielder. And as I say, they are likening this guy to Enzo Fernandez. They're saying he's as good as Enzo Fernandez. Now, if we can get him cheap like that, then I think we're going to have a cracking player on our hands here. I don't know a lot about him. I haven't looked into any. I don't watch Argentinian football, unfortunately. I don't really know a lot about him. But as I say, it's all over the news at the moment that we made a £16 million bid him. He has got a clause in his contract, actually, a buyout clause of €20 million, apparently. If that's the case, that's 18 million. But if you look at it in terms of euros now, it actually works out 17.6 million, but we've offered 16 million. But I mean, thing is though, I'll come to you. Pete first, and then I'll come to John. I mean, Pete, do you know much about Varela?
Not an awful lot, but if it's a player that they're scouting and they see something in him, that sounds promising. In my opinion, it really, really does. Young lad as well, and if he could fill in that or be a good add to the CDM role, then that's great. Considering Shelby's injury as well, going to be out for quite some time, so a player like him would be really good.
Yeah, and John, do you know much about Alan Varela?
I've never watched the lad play, Tony, but I heard Tim Fickery said the other day, right? And basically, what he's saying is, right, this guy is absolutely very, very good. I mean, he can tackle, he can shoot as well for long distance as well, and he's likened to Sergio Busquets as well, apparently, according to reports as well. I think that he's 6 foot. He's already won the Argentine title with Boca Juniors. Argentina cut with us twice, and this guy, I mean, he's a young lad. I think if he comes in, then I tell you something now. I think it'd be an absolutely ideal for the Premier League, because I think he's certainly made for the Premier League, in my opinion. But I'm not Foxy. Foxy knows more than him. But for me personally, I say if I believe in Ashworth, going to get this guy in to beef our midfield, then go and get him. The thing is, Tony, right, we need options, because you look at the bench we've got, apart from ASM, we haven't got any options at all. Really, he's got to change a game. But this guy, if we get this guy, I wouldn't have no hesitation throwing it in the deep end, because this guy has played first team football with Boca Juniors, and he is a decent player. And if Tim Fickery says that, I'll believe in Tim Fickery. This guy looks the real deal for a young age.
I mean, absolutely, John. I mean, he's, he seems to have, I mean, the thing is, you look at Enzo Fernandez. I mean, Benfica bought him last July, in fact, for 10 million euros. And now he's worth 120 million euros. I mean, it's just mad to think in such a short space of time, in just over like 7 or 8 months, he's worth that kind of money already. And we know he's got a contract, Enzo Fernandez, if Benfica till 2027, so possibly that's why the fee's so high as well. But if we're getting a player like Varela in, who's likened to Enzo Fernandez, then do you know what? It's just frightening to think if we get him for that sort of price, because you think, well, that's just a bargain. I mean, I know Barcelona are interested because Xavi's looking for a replacement for Sergio Busquets, but if I'm honest, if we can get him in through the door, then he could develop well. And not only that, Eddie Howe could make him an even better player as well, because we know Eddie Howe gets out this extra 20 to 30% out of a player. I mean, I've got his stats here, so I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm going to bring them on screen, his stats, because they're not bad at all, to be fair. This is for a 21-year-old. Just bear with me, guys, while I get the stats up on the screen. So, there's his heat map. So you can see where he generally around the balls is where he mostly plays. The yellow areas, basic, like the later areas where he's going out a bit, but mostly that massive red area is where he plays. Now he hovers around the midfield centre and the defence as well. So he's defensive as well. So he's right-footed. He's 21-year-old, 5'10". His strengths are his long balls, but he has no outstanding weaknesses, this guy. He's played 22 times this season and started 21 of those games, playing 84 minutes per game. Now, obviously, he's not got no goals, but if he's defensive midfield centre, then he probably doesn't score a lot. But we're going to go down to his passing abilities, which is quite impressive, to be honest with you. So he's got 1 assist. Per game, 60.8 touches per game. He's created 2 big chances. His accuracy per game is 88% passing. From his own half, it's 93%. In the opposition half, it's 82%. His long balls are 72%. His chipped passes are 70%. And his crosses are 40% in a game. Now, you look at someone like Jacob Murphy, his crossing at Newcastle United, I don't think it's been any higher than 20%. And he's supposed to be a winger, and this guy's not a winger. He's a central midfielder. Now, out of those stats, on those passes alone, I mean, you're getting, like I say, from in his own half, his passes are 93% accurate. I mean, that is some tactics, some stats for a young guy like this, for Varela. And I just think he just seems outstanding. I mean, like I say, I've not seen the guy play. I mean, you know, he makes 2 tackles per game, interceptions as well. I mean, other ones, his successful dribbles are 64%. He's won 53% of total duels, 54% of ground duels, 50% aerial duels, and he's lost possession 7.9 times in the match. And he's done 1.4 fouls. He's had 7 yellow cards out of that lot as well. But he's a tigerish midfielder by the looks of things, but he's very, very skillful and technical. And looking at them stats, to me, it's a no-brainer. I would say go and get him. I mean, Pete, what do you make of that with them stats that you've just seen there?
They look impressive, don't they? Really, really do. Yes. I think he ticks all the boxes. You will get old people say, oh, but he's not played in the Premier League. Doesn't matter. Those look promising. And a player like him would be really, really good. And it improves the side as well. Because we've been known to be a little bit sloppy at times, a little bit. I think he would be a great addition to our side.
And Pete, if he came in, would you have him in place of Sean Longstaff?
Do you know what? Probably yes, I would. Because I don't think Sean hasn't probably got those stats, what he's got. So, yeah.
Same to you, John. I mean, when I read those stats out, I mean, what's your take on what those stats are? I mean, frightening for a 21-year-old, isn't it?
Isn't it just? I mean, look at the stats alone. Very impressive for a young lad, 21-year-old, right? And he's been getting first team. He's playing for Boca Juniors. He's played 55 appearances, 8 goals, by the way. That's his record in this 2.5-year stay. He'd be a lot less than Enzo as well, let's be real, right? That's number 1. Number 2, Dan Ashworth has got a fantastic record of checking out South American players. When he was at Brighton, he got players like Moisés Caicedo, Alexis McAllister. Those 2 players, right, have gone on to bigger and better things. You know what I mean? I mean, McAllister's going to be absolutely stellar. I love to have him at Newcastle, by the way. And the thing is, right, I mean, look, I think Ashworth knows what he's doing. If he brings this guy in, I have no problems at all. Replacing Sean Longstaff, no brainer. This guy's a champion, yeah? And he is tough as well. And I think his technical ability there, those stats, is absolutely fantastic. Let's be real. And look, like I said, I don't know a lot about him. I only go off by his stats. I haven't checked him on YouTube. I'm going through by his stats. And look, if Eddie Howe thinks he's good enough to play him in, bring him in. Because at the end of the day, you got to give these young players a chance. I mean, 55 games for one of the biggest clubs in South American football, right? And he's got, 2.5-year experience playing one of the biggest clubs. Let's be real, right? You got to bear them in, give him a chance. Yeah? Sean Longstaff, right? I'm sorry, but I think, my opinion, I think he needs to be a squad player and not a first teamer because for me, I like Sean Longstaff and I hope he succeeds. But in my opinion, we need to really replace him. We're in a great position now of getting top 4.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree, John. I mean, he just looks a tremendous talent by them stats. Let's have a look at the comments that got on because I know there's quite a few coming. Rat says, see, people said Franco was a striker. Turns out he's a central attacking midfielder, was confirmed today on Sky. Yeah, I've seen he plays at a midfield or he can play further forward.
He's a baller, this guy. I mean, he looks a fantastic talent, that guy. I mean, look, again, he drops a shoulder. He's explosive, an 18-year-old. He's a champion for Flamengo, right? and he's already a Libertadores winner with the club as well. Let's not forget that, people. Put respect to his name. He can dribble and he can take on players as well with ease. Now, another player I'd like to see at the club, Matthias França. Not Franca, França. That's how I pronounce his name. I think he's going to be another young up-and-coming talent. He's going to play in the Brazil under-20s, by the way.
Ches says, I hope Foxy comes out and says he doesn't know him just for the laugh. Ches, I'll tell you now, Ches, if Foxy doesn't know him, I'll be very, very surprised. So, yeah, I think we're safe to say Foxy will probably know Ches, but I know where you're coming from. It would be rather hilarious if he said, actually, I've never heard of Alan Varela, but I'm sure he has done. Rat says, Varela is a decent player, has a problem with drink, and being in the tune may set him off for the nightlife. I think he should be okay. I mean, we don't know his personal life, but no, I'm sure Eddie Howe will have him on the straight and narrow, and they'll not let him go out and be a wild boy and go on nightclubbing on the big market or whatever he wants to do. He might want to go down Blue Bamboo or so yeah. But no, I'm sure he should be okay. That's for sure. Pablo says, we still got a new player to come back in Isak, as we've never got to see much of him. Yeah, I mean, he's back in full train. He's been training for a few weeks now. So, yeah. Paul says, yeah, just had to YouTube some of his videos. Never seen him play live. But he will be in the Brazil squad for the Under-20 World Cup. So I'm thinking he must be meaning França, is he?
França, yeah. That's the one.
Because Varela's Argentinian. Davey says £18 million release clause. Yeah, it's a bargain, that, isn't it? If he's that great. Rat says Tony's central defensive midfielder, natural CDM. He's touted as Barcelona's next Busquets. Yeah, exactly what I mentioned. But remember, we're battling with Barcelona now. So where's he want to go, La Liga or Premier League? He may think Premier League, especially if he's seen other players come to the Premier League, like Caicedo, and thinking, wow, they're doing well there. Let me follow. Davey says, we're offering pounds or euros. Well, it comes up, they say it's in euros, but yeah, it'll be pounds, but we'll be paying in their currency, I would imagine. Paul says, we need midfield as badly as Bruno, Willock, Joe Linton and Longstaff have to play every game, including Cups, as we have no one say else. Yeah, absolutely, Paul. Totally agree. And competition's what we need. We need strength in that bench as well. Rats, I keep saying Newcastle won Cornea from Germany, so why scrimp with a talent like that? Just pay the money. We need a ball-travelling midfielder. Cornea, yeah, I mean, I've banged on about this guy for the last 6 to 8 months. I would love to see this guy. I would love to see him come in. I mean, I think he's a tremendous talent. 21-year-old Frenchman. Mönchengladbach obviously don't want to lose him. I think it's been touted we've had a 32 million offer rejected, I think, from, but that was only a report. Whether that's true report or not, who knows? I mean, but if he came through the door, yes. But you could even bring him in and Varela as well. So, have two. Why not? Because Varela's got to develop. Yeah. Sorry, John.
Sorry. He's also been linked to Bayern Munich and PSG as well. So there is competition for the lad. And you said about 32 million rejected. Obviously, Gladbach wants more money. And at the end of the day, sort of thing, like we've got tough competitions now.
Yeah. LA Coffee says, why is Mr. Teeth nominated for Premier League Manager of the Month? Don't forget to vote for Eddie Howe. Yeah, I mean, how is Jurgen Klopp in that running? I mean, it's just beggars belief. And I hope in some ways, if Eddie Howe doesn't win it, then I hope Arteta doesn't get it, because he doesn't deserve it in my eyes. The way he has behaved himself, and he is a disgrace to football management, him and Jurgen Klopp, the two of them. And I think it's high time now. And I said this last night, and obviously I've got used to on, so I'll ask you for your opinions as well. And I said this on my show last night. I mean, Arsenal fans are an absolute disgrace. Some of them are, John and Pete, not all of them. I mean, I've got some who have subbed my channel and they're absolutely fine. They are. But there's a minority of Arsenal fans who think that we're a nobody, especially Ty from AFTV. What an idiot that man is. He is an idiot, Ty. And I'm sorry, I'm going to say it now, but he is a complete and utter bellend. Because to say that we're a nobody, I'm sorry, no. The reason you're like that is because you know we are getting closer to you. And Arsenal fans shouting that we defended and parked the bus. No, we didn't park the bus. We did try and play football. But when you play football, when you learn at school, you learn to defend. You defend your goal and you attack to score the goals. That's what football's all about. And if you want to win games, you've got to defend well to win games. And that's exactly what we did. We defended well and got a point out of it. And it was a great point as well. And so if people out there want to slate us for that, but I'll tell you what it is, they're panicking. That's what they're doing. They're panicking now because there's only one team that we've lost to in that Big Six, and that was Liverpool, under them controversial circumstances. Other than that, we've ripped the rest of them apart. And Arsenal fans need to go back and look. They need to go back and look at our games and see how well we've played. I mean, the thing with the Arteta thing as well, I think referees need to clamp down. I think the fourth official should be saying to the referee over the microphone and saying, look, can you come over, give him a yellow card? He's, he keeps on bartering at me, and the referee should come over and show yellow. And if he continues doing it, send him off.
Well said, Tony.
Absolutely,
well
yeah, certainly should. Klopp's already been sent off for doing it. Arteta, he's going to end up following the same way if he keeps doing it as well.
Can't come as well. Just to go back on Ty at AFTV. Ty, you're right. He's an absolute muppet. Honestly, I've got no time for that guy whatsoever. He's an absolute idiot. And I hope also fans watching the show, right, agree with us, right? That's number one. Number two, right, there's two guys I was a big up, right? Not just Lottie and Andy come on me sure twice for the match, right? And for review and preview. So big up to Lottie, big up to Andy, by the way. I love them to bits, you know what I mean? But there's two guys I was paid special mention, right? Both for AFTV. That's Dan Potts, right? Giving us credit. And also Lee Judges as well, because they both say nice things about Newcastle United. Big up to them, right? Because at the end of the day, those are only two, maybe it's Turkish, right? I can believe in. The rest of them, I'm sorry, they're just paid up actors. Cecil G, he's Aries, but a few of them's fine. But the rest of them, I'm sorry, they're just not for me, because Dan and Lee says it like it is. So as for Ty, he should get in the bin, guys. Get in the bin, Ty.
I mean, John, the thing is as well with the referees. Yeah, I mean, the referees, John, do you think it needs to be that they need to be more involved now in stopping and clamping down on these managers, likes of Klopp and Arteta? I mean, the way Arteta went on that touchline, bouncing up and down, you'd think somebody just took his toys off him.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, though, he's just like a spoiled brat, Arteta. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, he's going to be a champion soon, I'm pretty sure. But at the end of the day, he is losing. And I'm going to say this now. He is going to lose a lot of people with his attitude. Do you know what I mean? He is just so frustrated. That's number one. And number two, he needs to grow up here because he was wrong. He don't do that. He's just so frustrated, Pete. He could tell he's frustrated. And also, he didn't know what to do. Oh, and another thing, he only made one change, didn't he? I mean, he brought on Tommy Asu or Tommy Cafu, right, for most Arsenal fans, and then brings him on, and then takes off Ben White, which I think he had a good game, to be fair. But at the end of the day, right, they got no options. They need to beef up their squad, just like ours. And that's what we need to do as well, Tony, beef up our squad in January, because we're in a golden position now, guys. We're third, right? Maybe it's fourth. Right, go out and get the players in now, and don't wait till the summer, because if you get the players in now while we're in the top four, we could push on from there.
I mean, the thing is, John, it's if you looked at Arsenal's bench, they didn't have anybody on that bench who could come off and score a goal for them because they have no attacking players on that bench. They've got El Neni on there. He isn't up to the mustard. They had a youngster on there. So overall, Arsenal just had they shot themselves in the foot, and they had chances to break us down, but they couldn't do it. So
exactly.
That's all I want to see on that matter.
And you know what it is, so I'll make a quick understanding. I mean, Gavin Jesus is injured, so they badly missed him. Yeah, they couldn't trust Marquinhos as well. They couldn't trust because he's a young lad. They done Goodman on Fabio Vieira, 34 million quid, right? Didn't get him on as well. They could have replaced him with Odegaard because I thought he looked out of his feet at the end of the day. But Arteta didn't trust him at all whatsoever. Do you know what I mean? So look, at the end of the day, they're not my problem. Newcastle is the one is going to rattle a lot of teams in future seasons. And you know what? They're going to respect us once we do that.
Yeah, absolutely, John. Well said, mate. Well said. Alan says, lads, anything on Maddison or Trossard for January? Not heard anything as such. That's gone a bit quiet at the moment, but I think Maddison's back in training, I think. Christopher Davis. Hi, Christopher. Are you new at the channel, mate? Thank you very much. If you haven't,
You got
hit the
Chris.
subscribe button. Please hit that subscribe. It's free to do so. Would love to see Maddison at the tune, just a player we need to create the top end of the pitch.
Yep.
Yeah, he would be absolutely fantastic. Longstaff needs to be upgraded, says David. Longstaff's a good squad player, but at the moment, I thought against Arsenal, I didn't think he had a great game against Arsenal. So, and that was followed by his game against Leeds. So, yeah, I would like to see a bit more competition there.
I think Partey bossed him as well, by the way. Partey, Xhaka, bossed him. Big time, bossed him.
Yeah. Away the lad says Longstaff, Wood, Murphy, Dummett, Lewis, Ritchie, Manquillo, Lascelles, Dollo, Fraser need binning. Well, apparently Brentford and Bournemouth are looking at Ryan Fraser. Brentford and Southampton, are looking at Ryan Fraser. We all want about £7 million for him, for them to take us off his hands. If he goes to Southampton, he might be playing Championship football next year because the only way they're going is down because they ain't staying up. I'm sorry, they're not.
No way.
They should never have sacked Ralph. Anyway. If they kept Ralph, then they would have had a chance. I think you would have turned them around. You know what I mean? Because all they need is a striker away, and I think Southampton would have been harried. But they did not back him, and that serves them right because that guy, he is Mr. Southampton. He is absolutely fantastic manager. I mean, he was the best he could. Even Southampton couldn't believe it. They sacked him. But listen, getting a Nathan Adams, they'd be better off getting Nathan Jones, to be honest with you. Nathan Jones, that's his manager, is Nathan Jones. I'm sorry. I said Nathan Adams, didn't I? Nathan Jones.
Yeah.
You know what? At the end of the day, right, I mean, he's out of his depth in the Premier League and 4 games gone, lost a lot. I tell you what, he'll not be there at the end of the season. I think he'll be done.
No. Yeah, he will be. Let's keep him for the Championship. Alan says he'll fit him well at Newcastle with Bruno and Big Joe on about Varela. Yeah, absolutely. How are you, the lads? Coney in all day, please. Yeah, would love that to happen. Christopher then says, if Varela likes to drink, then Newcastle has plenty of Brunel available for the lad. Absolutely. There's plenty of great bars in Newcastle, that's for sure.
He can drink as much as he wants if he guesses a title, if he comes.
How are you, the lads? Varela and Cornet class. Fresneda and a striker and loan Wood out. Yeah, absolutely. Paul says all the clubs just seem to be buying young talent and not older, ready-made players these days. Yeah, they do. I mean, that's the beauty of your scout. LA Coffee, the Dubravka situation is very baffling. Jack Butland is going on loan to Man United. Looks like Dubravka wants to fight for his place. I mean, yeah, he apparently has to come back to Newcastle, Dubravka, so he obviously wasn't happy. Now, I still think he may be gone this month, Dubravka. I'm not 100% certain if he'll still be here after the January window. Because obviously we've got a choice to make now. At the end of this month, Loris Karius, his contract runs out. Do we extend it or do we let him go and keep Dubravka? That's the thing. So we just have to wait and see on that one. Paul says Dubs was only going to be at Man U till January. It was said back in the summer the loan happened that he can be called back in January. Yeah, absolutely. Christopher says Klopp's Nasher shine more brightly than the Blackpool Illuminations. They certainly do. You could put them on the Blackpool Tower. I tell you what, you could use Klopp at Dover as the lighthouse, so you'd guide the ships in. I Like Coffee says, I'll give Ten Hag a shout out for Manager of the Month nomination over Clippity Klopp, but definitely not above Howe. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, make sure you're all voting for Eddie Howe and Trippier, mind, because Trippier's up for Player of the Month.
Yeah.
Paul says, seen a lot of Arsenal fans slating us and even City for drawing against Everton, but forgetting Arsenal drew with Southampton, who are rock bottom lol. Absolutely.
Absolutely right, Paul Stones. Absolutely right. And the thing is, right, before you go on, Tony, right, I'm getting people like Carlson fans come to say it's going to be 3s and 4s and 5s, yeah. And you know what? Are they ever going to beat us by 3-0, 4-0, 5-0? Never. Not with that defense. You got the best defense in the league, right? And you're also going to see 3, 4, 5 goals? Nah.
The problem with the Arsenal fans is, John, they just think that they've got a right to score every home game and win every home game. What were they expecting us just to sit back and say, oh, there you go and score a goal, guys. There you go. You can have a goal now. No, it's never going to happen. They need to start living in the real world.
Yep.
Foxy's in the house.
Foxy!
Varela, who's that? I'm sure you know who Varela is, Foxy. You're just teasing now. Mark says, hi, Mark, hope you're well. He says, Richard Keys has said that Cristiano Ronaldo going to Newcastle Sports Ambassador to the Middle East once he finishes his contract on beIN Sports. Old hairy answers up to his old tricks. Yeah, he is. I mean, there's no clause. Eddie Howe's even confirmed that. And even Ronaldo confirmed that when he said in his press conference, I'm done with Europe. I've done what I wanted there. I'm now settled down in the Middle East. Well, he said South Africans. And he forgot he was in Saudi Arabia, not South Africa. Totally different country. So you just had a bit of a blonde moment there, did Ronaldo. Christopher Davis says Paul Stones also they also lost at Man U. We didn't. Yeah, yep. Absolutely. Yeah, they did. I Like Coffee says I saw that Arsenal fan Ty on EFTV, and I personally feel he behaved the way he did to garner reactions and views from Newcastle fans. Probably, yeah. Alan says, I think the so-called top 6 have shares in the Premier League. Well, we all know. So Foxy says, Varela, Boca are happy to sell Varela to the fan, but the fans are disappointed with the fee. They want at least 30 million euros or a big future percentage clause. If Newcastle sell in the future, Boca have some good youth players to replace him with. So the fans are annoyed that Boca's got this little clause on him. They wanted more. I mean, it's just going to be interesting. But I'm sure this story will develop as it goes on. And if he comes, he comes. If he doesn't, we move on to somebody else. Paul says, yeah, they will sharp go back there in the shells when City beat them twice, and then we'll beat them at St James's Park. Yeah, absolutely. I hope City absolutely smash them. Davey says, Klopp the horse, Clippity Klopp.
They're not going away, those others still.
Away the lad says, Klopp the Weft tyrant.
Oh, God.
Paul says, off topic, but is everyone looking for the League Cup game with everyone bringing the scarves back? Yeah, that should be absolutely fantastic. Won't you'll be there, Pete? You're not going, are you, John?
I'm afraid not, because it's a midweek game and I've got to work, so I'm afraid I cannot make it. I would love to be there, though, but I'm going against Fulham, though.
Arteta should join the Thunderbirds show. He would stand in like a puppet.
Oh, man.
Foxy, what do you know about him? So Foxy says, Boca have a big talent. 20-year-old Equis Fernandez returning from his loan at Tigre. He will replace Varela now. And is he good? Is he, Foxy? Let us know. Is Anderson not good enough to play now a starting 11? Says I Like Coffee. He's going on loan too. I mean, there's championship clubs in for him. Preston, Luton Town, Reading. So, yeah, I mean, there's a few in for him. Where he'll go, we do not know. Paul says not yet. Dubs are called to some. Yeah. Foxy says Varela is best played as a lone pivot in the midfield. Not the tallest or fastest, but has a bulldog type approach, a good stamina to get around the pitch, will win the majority of his duels. And then he also says, and for a young kid, he's got great confidence in possession and positionally great on and off the ball. So there we go, guys.
Brilliant.
And he says, would be surprised if he doesn't become a full international player for Argentina within the next 2 to 3 years. Christopher says, we could sign Santa in January as a clause in his contract. I like that one, Christopher. Well, do you know what, mate? Because that's such a great comment, I'm going to star that. There you go.
Yeah.
You got to star for that
There you go,
comment.
Chris.
Because that was
Star
a brilliant comment. Yeah. The Santa Claus. Well, one player we definitely won't be getting in the club is this one, because he's joined Chelsea on a 7.5-year contract.
Yeah.
So he's definitely not coming. So we spoke about that player, and obviously we briefly touched on this guy as well, Matthias França, as John says he's pronounced as. I mean, again, not somebody I've really seen play. His stats aren't bad. Up and coming young player. Do you know much about him, Pete?
Not really seen a lot of them as well, I've got to admit.
John, do you know much on him?
I heard from Tim Vickery, he said that he's very, very good, and he can dribble, he's quick. He scored 4 goals for Flamengo this season. He's going to play in the Brazil under-20s very, very soon. And I think he's going to be the one to watch for me. And if we can get this guy, I have no problems at all. I believe in Dan Ashworth and Eddie Howe. And I see, for the price being offered, something like 16 million quid, 70 million quid, I think that's quite cheap for a young lad. But for me, I'd rather buy a Brazilian who's 18 rather than a Brazilian who's 28.
Yeah, totally agree, John. I mean, this guy, Marcus Thuram, things have gone a bit quiet on that front now. We've not heard a lot from him. We've not heard a lot for anybody wanting Marcus Thuram. We don't know what's going on there. I mean, you heard anything more, Pete, on Marcus Thuram?
No, it just seems to have quieted down a bit. A player I would still like to bring in though, because now I think I'm now come to the decision with Chris Wood. Now he's not good enough for this side. Now we're not playing how he normally plays and all that, and I'm still annoyed by that effort. Why he didn't go for goal, offside or not, but you still go for goal in that kind of areas.
Absolutely. John, Thuram?
I think that ship has sailed, if I'm honest with you, because it's gone quiet. And if he's going to leave, I think there's 2 clubs he could go to, Man United or Inter Milan. But apparently also that Newcastle, if you believe the reports, has pulled out of the transfer.
They've pulled out. Well, there you go. So maybe there may be something in there that they've had to pull out for. Maybe they've looked into something and thought, oh, hang on a minute. Something come to light, and maybe they've decided to pull out. Right, so I'll just go into some comments before I go to the next one. Davey says, he sounds just a job foxy. Yeah, does. I like coffee laughing. I like coffee says, why are we being linked to Scott McTominay? I hope we're not.
No thanks.
Because
Not for
he's
me.
not good enough. He's no better than Sean Longstaff, if I'm honest.
Exactly.
We'll be linked with every man and his dog, says Davey. Yeah, we will be. As long as it's not Roy Keane's dog.
Exactly.
But yeah. So the next player we're going to go on to is this guy, Ivan Fresneda. A young Spanish right back. He's 18 years of age. Apparently, and this was according to reports, by the way, and this is not concrete evidence or anything like that. According to reports, he said his goodbyes to Real Valladolid, and because some reports said that he was going to go back there on loan once we signed him. Well, if he's saying his goodbyes from there, why is he going to go back there then? He's not going to say goodbye to his club and then go back. So I think some journalists get ourselves a bit muddled up. He's got no outstanding strengths or outstanding weaknesses. He's played so far this season 5 games that he started out of 7. He plays 80 minutes a game, and his passing isn't bad at all. I mean, his accurate passing per game is 81%. In his own half, it's 83%. Opposition half, it's 72%. Long balls are 65% accurate. Chip passes are 45% accurate. And his crossing is 21% accurate. But mind, this guy's only 18 years of age. And defending-wise, he's been involved with 1 clean sheet, 1.4 interceptions per game, 3.3 tackles per game. And he wins possession, 0.6 per game. He's had no errors that's led to a shot, no errors that's led to a goal. He's not given away any penalties either. Total duels he's won is 58%. Ground duels, 60%. Aerial duels, 43%. And like I say, he's not really a bad player, and he's had no yellow or red cards this season either. So there you go, guys. That's a little bit on Ivan Fresneda. Although SofaScore are saying his value is about €1 million, I believe it's around about 10 to 15 million pounds in British money. I see he's right back. He's 18. He'd be the ideal candidate to take over from Trippier because, yes, Trippier is still doing well at the moment, fit. But who knows, the next season or two, things could happen. Trippier could slow down, and he could be, he could be on his way to retirement. Who knows? Because in this game, you don't know how long you've got in the game. That's the thing. It can be cut short in an instant. So I think bringing this guy in would bring a lot of strength and depth. And remember, because he's 18, he doesn't have to register as in the 25-man squad either. So that plays into our hands as well. So I'll come to you, John. I mean, do you know much about Ivan Fresneda?
Do you know what? I only heard of him about a month ago, about this guy, but according to those stats, they're really good stats for a young lad. I mean, he had a brilliant game, apparently for Real Madrid. I mean, came unlucky when they got beat. And we're definitely going to need a replacement for Kieran Trippier, 100%. And not only that, we haven't got a covering right back. I mean, Emil Kraft is out. Mancrino could be off back to Spain. I hope he does. He needs football. We definitely need a right back, covering right back. And I think this guy could come in and he could shock a lot of us, you know what I mean? But obviously he needs to get some game time. But do I know a lot about him? I don't. But at the end of the day, he's only just joined the club as well, back in the summer. So I think 15 million represents good value for a club and Valladolid as well. So he said as well that he said goodbye to the players, yeah? And then he's going to go back on loan. Doesn't make sense, doesn't it, really? But I know if he wants to get some more game time, he could stay there, come to us in the summer, and then he can come better prepared. So I would take him to cover, and Kieran Trippier could be number 1, but that stats he's giving us to us look good. They look good.
Yeah. I'll face it now another level. I mean, do you know much about him, Pete?
Again, not an awful lot, but I heard he is quite highly rated as well, definitely. And again, he's a very young lad as well, and who says the stats that he's not got cannot be improved, possibly under Eddie Howe. And he can definitely learn off Kieran Trippier as well. Because face it, Kieran Trippier is definitely not going to be around much longer as well, considering with his age now, even though he's still going at the moment. But as you said, Tony, there might be a time where he might start to slow down, not be the same player that he may be as well. So I think a young lad like him would be brilliant as well. Because again, Kraft out for a while. Only time I think we'll see Kraft is possibly getting towards the end of the season again. Manquillo, you're right. He needs games at the moment, and he's just not getting them at Newcastle now.
Do you know what it is? You know what it is, right? I mean, not being funny, right? But they're professional football athletes, professional footballers, and they should be playing games. You know what I mean? With a great deal of respect, go out, play the game, get some game time, get some games under the belt. But you see, you got players like Manquillo, Fraser, Richie, to an extent Murphy, even themselves. I said on the bench, and they've not one of them's asked to leave the club. Not one. And they're quite happy to get their wages because they know, right, they will not get the same money elsewhere.
Yeah, absolutely, John. You're totally right, 100%. I mean, like we say, with Kieran Trippier, how much longer is he? I mean, he's 32 now. That's the thing. He's just turned 32. But let's look at. I'll just give a quick rundown of Kieran Trippier's stats this season so far. So he's played 18 out of 18. He started every game, 89 minutes of the week. Per week. He's been team of the week 6 times as well, and he's got 1 goal. And but this is the thing, and this is what's quite impressive. And this is why when he had that bad game against Leeds, he picked us straight up again against Arsenal. So that shows you what a super player he is and what a great player he is. I mean, this season he's got 4 assists. His touches are 79.1 per game. He's created 13 big chances, 2.7 key passes per game. Accuracy per game in passing is 76%. In his own half, 87%. In the opposition half, 62%. Long balls are 45%. Chip passes are 47%. And his crossing is 40% this season. That just shows you how good of a crosser. Well, that just proves his qualities, Kieran Trippier. I mean, his total duels, he's won 61% aerial duels, considering he's not a tall guy. 57% of ground duels, because we know he's a good tackler, Trippier. But yeah, I mean, he's had 4 yellows this season. But yeah, other than that, I think he's been absolutely spot on, and he's been an absolute bargain at 12 million. And I know you can look at bargains of the century, but he's got to be up there with that, absolutely. And I just thought I would share that little stat in there because when you look at his stats, it really is impressive, And you think at 32 he'd be slowing down. He ain't slowing down, not a chance. And by the stretch of imagination, I'm not saying Kieran Trippier is going to retire next season or the season after. He'll retire when he thinks he has to retire, when his body says to him, look, I can't keep doing this week in, week out. Then, but at the moment, Trippier's here, and yeah, he's absolutely fine. Let's go to some comments. Foxy says, Davey, really, a price is really a bargain. He's like 2 players in one, out possession aggressive when trying to win the ball back, and on the ball, pretty elegant technically, won't hide on the pitch. That's what you need, and that's the type of characters we need. Night in a Gaming, hi mate, I hope you're well. He says, saw something about Tielemans dropping his wages and now wanting to come to us. Anyone else heard this? I haven't at the moment, but we're going to drop into him in a minute. Foxy says, as for Francois, it's not easy to identify his best position. He likes to wander between midfield and forward, or even out wide. Good at finding spaces between the lanes, and technically, as you'd expect, he's brilliant. So that's from Foxy. Which then brings us on to the next player that we're going to talk about, which Night and A Gaming asked there, and that is Youri Tielemans. I mean, Tielemans, he's 25. He's still a quality player, regardless. He can play defensive midfield or centre midfield. I mean, yes, he's gone, but I keep saying it, and it seems I keep going over all ground. I know people keep saying, when he goes missing, he doesn't do this and doesn't do that. Yeah. But if you come to Newcastle, Eddie Howe will not let him go missing. Eddie Howe will drill it into him that he has to be on the ball time and time again. I mean, like I say, he's 25, he's 26 in May. He's still got a long career ahead of him. His strengths are playmaking, and again, I mean, on his crosses as well, his crosses are 29% accurate. So again, that's an improvement in crosses. but in his own half, he wins 90% of the ball in his own half, and 78% in the opposition half. So he really isn't a bad player, and he's already got 3 goals this season and 1 assist. I mean, Tielemans, he's up for free in the summer. There's a chance you could get him in this window on the cheap. If he has dropped his wage demands to come to us, which I've not heard that one, but if that is true, who knows? Who knows we could be looking at? Who knows that he's not having a medical? Who knows that he won't sign this week, next week, or whatever? But nobody knows. That's the thing, because the club keep their cards close to their chest. I'll start with you, Pete. I mean, Yuri Tielemans, yes or no?
Absolutely, yes. I would definitely have him. Look at the way he scored some belters as well for Leicester City as well. This season has just been fantastic. And again, CDM as well, a position we need to improve and to fill in that role as well. Absolutely, I would be taking him all day long. Really, really would be taking him at the club.
Yeah. And John, Yuri Tielemans?
I'd take him to, if it's to improve the squad, Tony, then 100% yes, because he will improve the midfield, no question about that. He's a Belgian international. He's a good player. Yes, I know people are saying that he's gone missing. He certainly did against us, by the way. But you're right. Eddie Howe will duel into this guy. And he done it for Joe Linton, Miggy. He can do it for Tielemans as well. And I think Arsenal's pulled out of the deal because of the wage demands as well, apparently. But if he does come, this is what I've been saying, guys. You know what I mean? We need to have options on the bench or from the start. You know what I mean? Get this guy in. We're in 3rd place in a minute. Get this guy in. Just say, look, we're 3rd. Get him in, because I think he'll be an asset in the midfield as well. I'd take Maddison too.
Yeah, absolutely, John. I mean, guys, if you like what you see, please hit the like button. It does help the channel to search results and makes it found more easily. Also, if you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button. It's free to do so. It also helps the channel grow. Also, hitting the bell notification tells you when I'm live, having upcoming shows, or pre-recorded video. So I'm currently sitting at 230 subscribers at the minute and would love to hit that 250 mark. So, yes, please, guys. Thank you very much to everybody who subscribed so far. I mean, yeah, this guy we know is back in full training, Isak, and great to have him back. He's going to be like a new signing because we've only seen him for a few games. Let's hope he is fully fit, which Eddie says he will be. I can see him playing Saturday against Sheffield Wednesday, and maybe he'll get out in the Carabao Cup as well. To give him minutes in his legs. I mean, Pete, how desperate are you to see this guy back in action?
Well, I think we need him back. Really, really, really need him back. Definitely. Chris Wood's not pleasing everyone at the moment. People have worry about will Callum Wilson pick up an injury as well. I think it's glad we've got him back because there's more to come from him. There's definitely more to come from Isak at all this season, and it will be like a new signing. And I won't be surprised if he starts banging in goals when he comes back as well.
Yeah, absolutely, Pete and John. Isak?
I've said before you sign first, get this guy in. If you want a realistic signing, get the sign in because this guy is absolutely brilliant. He will be brilliant as well. Like Pete said, we need this guy back in ASAP because Chris Wood, for me, is just not good enough. I mean, when he missed that chance against Leeds, and even though he's offside against Arsenal, you still got to have a goal. But for me, we can't mess about, Tony. We want to get top 4 this season. Isak could be the difference getting us there. He will score goals. He scored 22 previously before that. He scored, 6 in an injury-hit season. I tell you now, right, he has to play. And I wouldn't mind him playing up front over Wilson, to be fair. And that's no disrespect to Callum, but Isak is a natural-born finisher. Okay, he missed that chance against Palace when he's clean through, but great strikers miss it as well, by the way. But he should have done better. But get him in. I'll play him. Where would you play him? Would you play him from the start, or would you play him as a subs bench?
Well, on Saturday, I would probably start him on Saturday and give him, maybe an hour.
Yeah. Give him an hour and then see how he does. Because if he produce it, right, then get him in against Leicester as well. And then the most important game is against Fulham on Sunday. That'd be tough. I think we'll beat them again, but
Yeah.
I think we'll be fine. But get Isak in. I think he'll probably get 15 goals between now and the end of the season. I really, truly believe that. Again, that Chris Wood's chance against Leeds, if she missed, Isak gets it.
Yeah, absolutely, John. He would have put that away anyway.
100%.
I mean, this is a little tack I'm changing, and you're probably going to laugh at this now, but this player that I'm going to put on screen has been absolutely brilliant this season. Not on the field, though, but this player, as I say, he's been a hero in a way. He's been the hero of shithousery, and that is Jamal Lascelles. 2 yellow cards as an unused substitute because he stopped the throw-ins getting taken quickly. I mean, Pete, if there had to be a shithousery of the season, Jamal Lascelles wins it hands down.
Absolutely, doesn't he? 2 yellows for not even making an appearance on the pitch for stopping the throw-ins. Deary.
John, same question for you. Shithousery of the season, Jamal Lascelles gets that award.
I tell you what, though, I mean, he'll get sent off one day. You watch, he'll get sent off, and he will. He definitely gets sent off, but it won't be from the pitch; it'll be off the pitch as well. Yeah, what a job! He's not my footballer, but I tell you something, right? He's done a great job as well. Maybe those 2 bookings are well worth it, man.
What I want to ask you two guys as well, because I've spoke about this on the shows, and I'm not saying this because I'm totally dismissing the guy altogether, but I'll bring him on screen anyway. Callum Wilson. So what I've said is, if we bring another striker and say this window, and then we get another striker say in the summer, say for instance we brought Thuram in, and then the summer we bought another striker. Now, this is no disrespect to Wilson, because I think injuries are catching up with him. I think illness has been catching up with him as well. I can see Wilson, maybe from next season, if we've got the strike force, starting to become a more of a substitute rather than a starting 11 player. Simply because I just think of what I've said about about stuff catching up with him. I mean, I'll start with you, John. I mean, do you agree with what I'm saying? Do you think if we do get the strikers in, do you think Callum might be playing a bench role from next season?
You know, I'm a big fan of Callum Wilson. Yeah, I really know. He's been fantastic for Newcastle since he's been here. But for me, and also he'd be 31 as well. For me personally, he could be a bench player. I'll keep him on the bench as an option as well when things don't go well. But for me, we could do another striker anyway, because we know Chris was not good enough, right? That leaves Isak. Isak is going to be the main guy. We definitely need another striker in the summer, no matter what. You know what I mean? If we can do that, that would be brilliant, because we need 3 strikers in the team. 2 strikers is not enough. 3 strikers is absolutely essential if you're gonna suffer, sort of thing. You know what I mean? If you're gonna be successful, I meant to say it. But Wilson's the bench, Isak's the main striker, and get another striker in as well on the bench as well. So that's you've got options, yeah. But I love Wilson, but you're right, his injury record's not the greatest. We need players going to play 30-odd games a season and not 16.
Yeah, absolutely. And Pete, what do you make of what I said about Callum Wilson?
Yeah, I think because the injuries will start to catch up with him eventually, and we all probably know he is going to be due another one. We know it happens every season, not just for Newcastle, but it's happened to Bournemouth as well. And that is the thing. So, yeah, and I think Callum will understand that himself, because we are looking at younger players as well. And yeah, and again, because Chris Woods is just not cutting it at this club now, is he? So we definitely need someone else in, by the looks of it, whether it's Thuram or another really decent striker. But not just for Wilson, but for Wood as well.
Pete, I mean, I've said many times to your shoe and on my shoe as well, is Chris Wood ever going to get us a title? Is he going to get us top 4?
No.
Definitely not. Definitely not.
He's definitely not. And if you're missing easy opportunities like that, what does that tell you? I mean, the chances against Leeds were probably out of them chances, he had the easiest out of the lot of them. And I don't know why he's squaring the ball when no one's there against Arsenal.
Yeah.
Go for goal.
He sh-
If it is offside, VR can rule it out. But yeah, that's the thing. And I think he's very slow at times, Chris Wood, now.
I've noticed that as well. When we paid 25 million quid for the guy, Burnley must have been thinking, yo, 25 mil? Yes, please, people. Yes, please. 25 mil. They actually, people are saying, right, that we've broken Burnley. We weakened Burnley, yeah. But at the same time, I think Burnley fleeced us for 25 million quid. And they say, okay.
I think they've pulled my pants down in a way.
What's that, Pete?
I think they've pulled my pants down in a way as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. I think we got absolutely mugged for that deal. We got absolutely mugged. I mean, yes, needed a striker. I get it, yeah. But Chris Wood, come on. I've defended this guy, but not for me. Let's be real.
Yeah. Night in the Gaming says, can see Trippier staying on after his playing career to learn under Eddie and get his coaching badges and think that would be an amazing thing to happen. Yeah, I can as well. And I think he'd be the one to, bring all right backs on as well because... he'd pass on all his knowledge and I can see that happening. And I've been saying this about Matt Ritchie. I can see him staying and being a coach eventually. Or if he does leave, he'll come back as a coach. And Nate says, Eddie Howe will get the best out of him and make him a better player. Eddie's man management is the best in the league, in my opinion. It is absolutely 100%. Nate says, saw an interview with Eddie where he said, he tells players what he likes about them, then he tells them what he doesn't like and how he can improve before signing them. Yeah, that's what you've got to do. I mean, I watched, a podcast with Isaac Hayden, and he spoke about Rafa Benitez. He says when he came to Newcastle from Arsenal to have a chat with Benitez, he says he met him in a hotel in London, and he said. We just sat there, he says, and he just started talking about things and asking how I'm playing my game and how, where I could play. And then he says there was he had some Quality Street or something on the table and the ball. And Rafa Benitez started getting the Quality Street out and lining them all up and saying, right, now, if that's you there, how will you defend against this player coming that way and getting the ball? He says, by the time the interview was finished with Benitez, he says, I'd been there over 3 hours. He says, and I was like, hang on a minute, I told my wife I'd only be probably just over an hour. He says, yeah, he says, I was there for over 3 hours with Benitez. He said, I couldn't believe it. He says, you just had you engrossed. He says, but he says, the one thing he says I will say about him, he says, what he showed when he says, I know it was funny that he put sweets out on the table, Quality Street. He says, but what was so funny was, but it also taught you that's how he wants you to tactically play. And he wants to know how your tactics will be against this player, that player. And he said, if this is Aguero, how are you going to attack him? And he says it was like, wow. But that's Rafa Benitez for you, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
And I just thought I'd share that because, like he just said with Eddie Howe about players, and I just thought, because I saw that the other week about Isaac Hayden, and I just thought that was fascinating. Knight says, shame we couldn't have Isak and Wilson on at the same time. I'm sure he's played on the wing. He has, hasn't he, John? He used to play on the wing for Sociedad, didn't he?
He did as well when needed, as well. He's effective as well because he's quick. So he can play on the left side, and that's no problems at all there. But he is quality. He really is. And we really ask him to play. He just does the job.
LA Coffee says Chelsea have Azpilicueta, Fofana, Thiago Silva, and Kula Bramble. Why do they need Badiashile as well? I mean, Badiashile, I just hope they don't ruin his. I hope they don't ruin Badiashile because he's a great defender. But Kula Bramble, yeah, Mr. Kula liability, that's what he is. And John, I've said this to you many times. You keep saying to me, John, but he was good at Napoli. Yes, John, he was good at Napoli. But Serie A is different football to the Premier League, John. It's a lot slower. And when Chelsea come knocking for Koulibaly and offering over 30 million, Napoli probably looked and thought, do you know what? Let's snap the hands off because we can get somebody else in, better and younger. So let's get rid. And they saw Chelsea coming because he has been a liability at games. I mean, Pete, Cooler Bramble, as I Like Coffee calls him. I mean, if we had signed him, would you have been happy with him?
You know,
Be
with the
honest,
sign.
Pete.
Well, probably not by the looks of it, because he's not doing it in the Premier League, is he?
It's too quick for a minute.
I mean, did Miggy have him on toast when we played him against Chelsea? Yes. Everyone had him on. Else had him on toast when we played Chelsea at home.
Yeah. Even in the World Cup, England had him on toast and against Senegal.
Wow.
I know John likes him, but I mean, he was a good player in Italy, John. He was good for Napoli, yeah, but unfortunately, he's not cutting it in the Premier League, mate. Sorry.
No, that's
Knight
fine.
says,
I mean, Didier Drogba didn't have a brilliant first season, did he? I mean, he was shocking the first season, and then the rest is history.
yeah, but he's a lot younger than Koulibaly was, so.
True.
Knight says, the one against Arsenal, he was just pointed out as being taken in the wrong place, and he was correct. Cucurella was great for Brighton, says I Like Coffee. Not sure how he's doing at Chelsea. I'm not sure. Impact sub, he'd be perfect, says Knight on Wilson. Davey says, watch Chelsea and Man City, nothing outstanding happening. And protect him, says Knight, if you keep thingy on the bench. Wilson. Chris Woods, I would have held on to the ball and passed to Maxi, who was running to support him, but his decision-making awareness isn't there. No, it isn't. I Like Coffee. I mean, all you do is, even if you think there's a hint of offside, just keep going, like Callum Wilson did against Spurs when he had that clatter with Lloris. He carried on, put the ball in the back of the net, because you play to the whistle. That's what you do. And nowadays, referees are told, let the ball go. If it goes in the back of the net and it's offside, VAR picks that up. But apparently, Howard Webb, our new referees chief, has told VAR not to forensically analyse everything. Now, I know Arteta was annoyed at that penalty, saying, Dan Burn had a hold of Gabriel and pulled him down. Right, okay, fair enough, he did, and we got away with that one.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what my honest opinion is? If you go back before that incident, they got that free kick outside the area. Now, Joe Linton clearly gets that ball. And he gets not only a free kick given against him, but he gets a yellow card for it, for the tackle on Saka. But he didn't touch Saka. Now, that ball then goes into the box, and that's when the Dan Burn incident happens, and he drags Gabriel down by his shirt. Now, I think VAR's looked at that, and they've looked at the free kick and thought, well, actually, that wasn't even a free kick. So we can't give a penalty, can we, really? Because if we do, we're cheating the other team out of a point, or at least a point. So I don't know. Maybe VAR's looked at that, but then maybe VAR looked at from the first half when Gabriel shoved Dan Burn to the ground. That should have been a penalty.
Exactly.
And again, that wasn't given. So maybe they've evened it out that way. I don't know. I mean, but whichever way they've done it, I don't care what Arteta says. He can say what he wants. He can whinge like a baby.
Yep.
But he worked under Guardiola, and I'm sure Guardiola certainly didn't behave like that on the sidelines, because if you watch Guardiola, that guy, yes, he does get a bit animated sometimes on the sidelines, but he doesn't go to the extent of Arteta and Klopp. He's actually quite a calm guy, and if something's not gone right, he'll say it, but that's all he'll do. But Arteta, I hope he's charged for his comments after the game about VAR and all this, because absolutely disgraceful. He says, VAR's there, and he says, what's the point of VAR? Even Klopp said the same, what's the point of VAR? After that Brentford goal, apparently the third goal, he said there was a foul. And they said to Klopp, well, what about VAR? And he says, VAR, he says, they hide in the background. He says, because what they'll say is, it's not a clear and obvious error on the referee, so they won't pull him up for it. They won't want to humiliate him. So they just let Brentford have that third goal. He says, and the only reason Brentford beat us is because they had no players at the World Cup, where we had a lot of players at the World Cup. So our team's still fatigued. And I thought, don't make excuses, mate, because, sorry, but Brentford had players at the World Cup. David Raya was in the Spanish squad. Was he not? And Wembley played for Cameroon, did he not? And played 3 group games. So, Klopp, shut the hell up, mate. You haven't got a clue. Go and get your teeth sorted out.
Oh man!
I mean,
Nice one.
John, what do you think of Klopp's comments about VAR and about the saying the hiding behind the screen because I don't want to make the referee look bad and that Brentford had nobody at the World Cup compared to Liverpool? I mean, is that just excuses because his team are shocking? And not only that, the midfield of Liverpool is so old and aged now that they're just about walking about on Zimmer frames, aren't they?
100%, man. 100%. I mean, Klopp, yet again, is just getting animated as well as Arteta. And let's be real about it, because there was nothing there was there. But that's just making excuses. Excuses all the time. And he's just frustrated because he's losing like Van Dijk, Jota's out, Jota's out, Diaz is out as well. He's just getting, he's just a bad loser, Tony, and people's getting sick of him. When he first came to Liverpool, go on, Pete.
I can't believe he wanted a foul for that third goal.
The guy's an absolute muppet. He really is, yeah.
He's deluded,
I'm
isn't
sick of managers that just can't take defeat. You know, it is what it is. And I think a lot of people's losing even Liverpool fans are sick of his excuses now, you know?
Yeah, it's just...
Oh, God, there's a comment in there.
Hey?
There's a comment
in there. Let's have a look, shall we?
Klopp, yeah.
Yeah. Harry Coffey said first, even Longstaff Harry Sheffield against Wolves, which VAR didn't look at least some consistency was there, yeah.
True.
And he says, VAR can't say anything because he's pearly white, so blinding the cameras.
Yeah, cool.
I'll tell you what I'm going to bring up on screen. I've just found the Liverpool midfield. So, are you ready for this? There we are. So we've got Fabinho, we've got Milner, we've got Jordan Henderson, and Thiago.
Hold on.
Big up, man.
Yeah, so you got Thiago, James Milner, Jordan Henderson, and Fabinho.
Oh, fucking hell. Oh.
Like that one,
Brilliant.
Peter.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
There you are. Zoomed it up a bit more.
Oh, fuck. I can't see now.
Specsavers, Pete. Yeah, so anybody who's just joined in now, there you go. That's the Liverpool midfield. Fabinho, Jordan Henderson, James Milner, and Thiago.
Crazy, man.
Oh,
You like that one, did you, Pete?
oh God almighty.
I had to bring that one up.
Oh.
That is brilliant.
Howie the lad says, all the teeth at Liverpool are falsies, good at all gits. If Liverpool need a midfielder, they should have bought Gakpo. Oh God, that's a good one, isn't it? Though that.
Ooh, that's a brilliant
I do bring them out, don't I, Pete? I do pull them up, don't I?
Oh, yes, you do.
I know they're old women there, but yeah, they probably play like old women this. But yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Right, guys, on that note, we're going to start wrapping up. So, Pete, would you like to let people know where they can find you and any upcoming shows you have as well, mate?
Yes, so YouTube PD Prologue, I'll be doing the preview in about 7 minutes. So come and tune into that. And
you can't get that image of the Liverpool midfield out.
And yeah.
Oh my God.
So feel free to subscribe to the channel as well. Of course, I'll be doing another live show tomorrow. That bonkers live show I do on a Friday. And follow me on social media at my Facebook page, my Twitter, my Instagram, and my Snapchat as well. Fuck's sake.
Thanks, Pete. Sorry, that was just I had to put that on, Pete. I couldn't help that one. I had to. It's just too not to put on.
Oh, class, man.
Oh, Jesus.
We can let you go, Pete, if you want to go, mate, to go and sort
wait,
yourself
I
out
can
for your
wait.
show and get.
I can
Oh, you
wait.
can
His
wait.
wrap up. I can just wait.
No
his
worries,
wrap up.
mate. And John, where can we find you, or where can anybody find you?
Yeah.
Apart from hiding in the cupboard.
Excuse me. Yeah. Oh man, thank you for having us on, guys. You can find us on Twitch, Facebook, and you can find us on YouTube, John Sinclair TV, Instagram, John Sinclair 50, Luai Kisses. You can find us on social media, John_NUFC 42, and I do all shows. And please feel free to hit that subscribe, click on the subscribe button. Also smash the likes as well, and also share my content as well if you want to. And I was hoping to be on tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah, guys. So before I go back into it, I know a couple of more people have joined on. So there you go. There's the Liverpool midfield once again with James Milner, Fabinho, Jordan Henderson, and Thiago. There you go. So I hope you enjoyed seeing the Liverpool midfield. You can see how old they are. They're getting really old. They should be going for their pension like these are.
Absolutely.
Just got some comments by Tony PD. John Moore says, I like coffee. Bye-bye. Knight says, Knight, all great show. Thanks very much. I hope you enjoyed the Liverpool midfield there. The FA need to pull Clipley's reins in. Yes, they do, says Davey. I like coffee says, we'll see you on your show, PD.
Cheers, man.
He says, I was waiting there for about an hour.
Bloody hell, man. And me too.
So, guys, you can find me on Twitter at TonyTooney31. Give me a follow, I'll follow you back. And you can also find me on my channel, which you're on. And if you like what you see, please hit the like button. It does help it up the search results and helps the algorithms as well. So it means people can find the channel a lot more easily as well. And also, if you're brand new to the channel, like 230 people have been, please hit the subscribe button. It is free to do, so it helps the channel grow. And also the bell notification tells you when I'm live. I have a pre-recorded show or any upcoming shows in fact. So there we go, guys. I was due to do a preview tomorrow for a Sheffield Wednesday back to me, if she can make it or not. So bear with me on that one. But yeah, guys, it's been a cracking show again, and we had a good laugh there at the end with the Liverpool midfield. And you know, I knew it would send Pete into raptures, and I do it every time. And, you know, it's just one of those things. It just can't be helped. It's got to be done. But, yeah, guys. So, yeah, in a few minutes, join Pete on his channel. He'll be doing a preview show ahead of the big game against Sheffield Wednesday. Let's go and win this time at a League One club and not fall at the hands like we did last season to Cambridge, which I don't think we will. Sheffield Wednesday have just come off the back of a 5-0 win against Cambridge United and are flying now in second place behind Plymouth in League One. So they're having a good season under Darren Moore. And I'm sure if we knock them out the cup, I don't think they'll be too disappointed because it means they can concentrate on getting back to the Championship. And remember, Sheffield Wednesday used to be a great team in the 90s with the likes of Carlton Palmer. And they got to a League Cup final and an FA Cup final in the same season as well. So, you know, they have been a terrific team in the Premier League. They've just had a long time out of it. And, you know, it's another club that should be back in the Premier League, really, in my eyes. Hillsborough's one of the best away days ever. I mean, I enjoyed going there in the Championship and it was brilliant, you know, and yeah, it's a lovely old ground, Hillsborough. But until then, guys, take care and don't have nightmares, and we'll see you again soon. And don't have nightmares with Klopp's teeth either.
Exactly.
And don't let them. It's a good job he's not standing out your window because you keep me awake all night, lighting up the room. So until then, guys, take care and bye-bye for now.